Okay, so we're holding Parshas Vayeira, and in this week's portion, right in the beginning, it says as follows: Hashem appeared to him, Hashem appeared to Abraham in the plains of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance of the tent in the heat of the day. So this is an introduction, and it's giving us the context of what's going on, what's the background. Abraham just had a bris milah. This is the third day. At 99 years old, God instructed him to circumcise himself. And on the third day, when it's most painful, um, he is sitting at the entrance to his tent. Um, and Rashi says, Vayeira Elav Hashem, on the words, and God appeared to him to visit the sick person. Rabbi Chama ben Bar Hanina said, it was the third day since his circumcision, and the Holy One, blessed be he, came and inquired about Avram's welfare. Hashem comes to visit the sick. Hashem comes to see how Avram's doing. And where is Avraham? Rashi says on the words Pesach Ha'ayam, at the entrance of the tent to see if they were passerbys, so he would bring them into his house. Now Hashem didn't want that he should be busy with guests when he's in so much pain. So what did Hashem do? It says in the verse, K'chaim hayim, Avram is sitting there at the entrance of the tent when? In the heat of the day. And on these words, Rashi says, the Holy One, blessed be he, blessed is he, brought the sun out of its sheath. He made it shine intensely so as not to trouble Abraham with guests, because God saw, but then God saw Abraham was not happy. He was sad that there were no visitors coming, and therefore he brought the angels to him in the form of men. And then what happens? He lifted his eyes and saw, and behold, 3 men, welcome, were standing before him. He saw and he ran towards them from the entrance of the tent and bowed towards the ground. One more verse. And he said, Avram said, my lords, if it please you that I find favor in your eyes, please pass not from before your servant. And then it continues and says, everything that he did for them, let some water be brought, please, and wash your feet and recline beneath the tree. I will fetch a morsel of bread, that you may nourish your heart, etc., etc. He feeds them, takes care of them, etc. These are the verses that in the beginning of our Torah portion. So the Rambam. So you have 2 papers in front of you. One is a chart, which we're going to look at later, and then there's the Rambam. We're going to go through the Rambam through all, through it all. But if you look at the second paragraph, where there's like a little number 9 after the little number 9. So we're going to focus on one line of the Rambam, and then we're going to go into the Rambam, the whole thing. But here it's the Rambam says, showing hospitality for guests surpasses receiving the divine presence. So what's happening here? God came to visit him. And he tells God, he says, wait, I have guests. And he tends to his guests and he basically leaves Hashem hanging. And the Rambam comes and says that hospitality for guests surpasses, it's even greater, it's even more important than receiving the divine presence. As it states, what's the Rambam's proof? A few words, 4 words from these verses. And he saw, and behold, there were 3 people. The Hebrew of that is Vayisa Einav, and the words are Vayar v'hine shloisha nashim. The words Vayar, and he saw, v'hine, and behold, shloisha nashim, 3 men. From these 4 words, this is the Rambam's proof that if God is visiting you and guests come, the guests come first.
I was thinking of that. Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, but
We don't really have that.
okay, but let's see what we do have. Okay, let's make it very, 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 very practical. We're busy with a lot of things, and we're busy with a lot of spiritual and good things, but we always have to, we could never take our eyes off of other people. I was going to say this to the end, I'll just say it now. Um, well, this past week, there was a terrible tragedy in Israel where a boy took his life. Um, I think it's a massive wake-up call. I'm saying no, we can't, we can't, no one is, we're not blaming anybody. And obviously there's a lot of things that have to come together in order for someone to take their life. But it is a wake-up call for parents, for teachers, for friends to always be on the lookout. Is there someone that needs emotional help or emotional support? And no matter what you're doing, there's nothing more important than taking care of another person. So God is not appearing to me, but I was just thinking about it because for the past 2 weeks I was like so happy or proud of myself. Oh wow, I'm davening more than I ever did from the beginning till the end. But as soon as it's about me, I'm so proud of myself that I'm successful in incorporating davening in my life. Okay, 1 second. Now I need this teaching to put me back on track. I'm davening not because it makes me feel good. I'm davening. Why did I even start? Why did I even start taking this upon myself? Because I was davening for somebody. It's not about me getting it. It's not about me patting myself on my back. Yeah, I could check this off. It's always about you can't forget about another person. So we actually had this question. I don't know if it was in this class, in a different class. I don't remember the context of it. If you're in the middle of davening Shemoneh Esrei, you're not allowed to move, and the baby fell off the chair, the baby fell off the bed. Now what? So now all of a sudden I'm jumping ahead of the game, but I'm saying now there's an incredible sense of clarity. For me personally, I'm standing before the king. I'm not allowed to move, not allowed to wink at someone. I can't, play around or move around. That's me. But if the kid is pulling my skirt and wants bamba and could wait another 20 seconds, then I'm going to finish my Shemoneh Esrei, and eventually they'll learn that mommy's doing Shemoneh Esrei. Alicia, she works for us for the past 20 years. So I'm doing Shemoneh Esrei, and I don't know who is pulling my skirt. So Alicia tells my whoever the baby was, mommy's davening, you have to wait. So if Alicia figured that out, then eventually the kids figure out if mommy's davening, you have to wait a minute. It's okay. But I'm saying if there's an emergency, just like you're allowed to break Shabbos, if there's an emergency, if someone's bleeding, if whatever it is, it's not me. For me, of course, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to, pick up the phone or do something for myself while I'm davening. But if someone else is in desperate need, then just like I would break Shabbos, I have no choice if it's in case of emergency. Which also brings to mind the story of the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe. He was learning late in the night, and I don't know exactly the details of the Alter Rebbe and the Mittler Rebbe, his son and his grandson. I don't know if they were one was living upstairs, one was living downstairs. I don't know exactly what the story was, but the Alter Rebbe is in the middle of learning, and he hears a newborn baby crying. It was his grandson. And he goes to pick up the baby and calms the baby down. But his father, the Mittler Rebbe, was also learning and hadn't heard the cries of his baby. And the Alter Rebbe stopped and spoke to him and told him, you could never, you can't be so involved in your learning that you don't hear a baby crying. And it could be a baby that's a few months old, and it could be a baby a baby in Judaism. It could be someone who's 80 years old, but he can have a much he could be older in his passport, but in religion, or not in religion, in his practice of Judaism, he could be a young child that's calling for help. You can't be too involved in your personal journey and your personal spiritual growth to not hear the cry of a child. And another thing, I don't know where I read this. It wasn't a Jewish source, but there was this police investigator, and his job was that if somebody takes their life, to try to investigate and find. You want to tell us? Yes, yes.
So with John was, I asked him to jump off the bridge. It was his horrible job to go investigate the whole story to see like what happened. And one of his cases, and he became very like mean into the whole situation. He just wasn't emotional about it because a lot of people, unfortunately, it's a very popular place to find off.
Okay, I'm gonna pass this to you so that whoever's on the recording should be able to hear as well. Okay.
So he just had no emotion about it. And he had a case where he went to the person's house and was looking through all their stuff to see what happened, and he actually started crying. So somebody asked him, like, why is this case different than all your other cases? You do this every day. People jump off. It's your job to go to the house, go to the family, try to figure out. He said, because I found a note from this person, and this person said, I'm miserable, I'm distraught, I'm so unhappy, I'm about to jump off the bridge. But if I meet one person on the way who will just even like acknowledge me or just wave or show me that I'm important and my existence means something in this world, and will just anything, someone just to acknowledge me, I'm not going to jump. And unfortunately, he did not get that validation that he needed. Did I say it right? Okay, good.
So
Yeah. Okay. So now that so first we have to understand that this teaching applies to us. Now we could continue, right? So obviously, because everything that happened to our forefathers is obviously a lesson for us for how we should behave. Okay. Okay. So the Rebbe asked the question. The Rambam is bringing us a proof that Achnasas Archim comes before being makabel the Shechina from what? From 4 words, Vayar v'hinei shleisha nashim. He saw and behold, there were 3 people. That doesn't tell us anything. What does that tell us? And it doesn't even say etc. V'gaimer. If it says etc., then you know, okay, look a few more words and see the story. But he's basically, the Rambam is telling you that it's specifically from these 4 words that we learned this lesson, and we want to understand why these 4 words. Why is this his proof? And the question becomes stronger because where does the Rambam take this from? Everything is sourced somewhere, right? So the Rambam, what's the Rambam source? What is the Rambam source that hospitality comes before greeting God? And the Gemara, the source is from the Gemara, the Talmud. And what does the Talmud say? The Talmud says the same thing, that take care of guests comes before speaking to God. But in the Gemara, there's a different proof. What is the proof? In the Gemara, it says a much clearer proof, seemingly. The proof is, it says over here, my Lord, if it pleases you that I find favor in your eyes, please pass not from before your servant. Which means that Avram is telling God, if I find favor in your eyes, please don't go away. Please wait for me to take care of my guest, and then I'll come back. So isn't that much a stronger proof where we would see that hospitality comes first? take the words that Avram says to God, please wait. Instead of saying the words, and he saw behold, there were three men. So there's three points here. Number one, the Rambam changes the proof. He's taking it from the Gemara and he's changing the proof. Not only is he changing the proof, he's changing the proof to a proof that is much weaker. And number three, this is the opposite of the Rambam's approach. The Rambam's approach would be to keep the proof and especially a more clear proof. So basically what the conclusion that we have to come to is the fact that the Rambam is choosing these four words. Vayeira v'hinei shleisha anashim. He saw and behold, there were three people. That there's something about this proof that's even more powerful, and there's a lesson here that's even greater that he wants us to learn, and that's why the proof has changed. It seems like it's a less clear proof, but there's something here that can't be learned. That can't be learned just from the Gemara's proof. We need this proof. And all this, the Rebbe is bringing this to our attention. And just this word vayar, and he saw. We're going to see how important that word is, and we're so grateful to have this teaching for the Rebbe to elucidate and to bring out and say, hey, look, the Rambam and the Gemara are both saying the same thing, but look, the proofs are different. And why are the proofs different? And what can we learn from it? That's what's so incredible about these teachings. Okay. So first of all, our first question is, how is it possible for Avraham to put God on hold for his guests? Okay, we already gave the answer before we started, but we're going back to the beginning. How is it possible for Avram to tell Hashem, please wait? When we're davening Shemoneh Esrei, there are halachos, there are rules, laws of how when we say Shema and when we say Shemoneh Esrei, how we're supposed to behave. So it says that when we say Shema, we have to have proper intention. You have to have fear, trembling. When we read the Shema, we have to realize that what are we doing? We're reading a document that the king sent out for the people of his country. And every day and every time we read the Shema, we should read it as if we're reading it for the first time. So this is our mission statement. Shema is our mission statement. And we even close our eyes so we shouldn't be distracted when we say Shema. And we say Shemoneh Esrei, our feet are together and we don't move and we don't signal to other people, all that kind of stuff. So we're supposed to be very, very focused when we're davening Shema and Shemoneh Esrei, and we're not supposed to get distracted. So here, and about Shemoneh Esrei, it says that when we're davening Shemoneh Esrei, we should have the feeling as if the Shechina is right before us. But with Avraham, it wasn't as if the Shechina is right before him. The Shechina was right before him. And he's standing like a servant, and we have to stand like a servant before our master. And obviously, Avraham was standing like a servant before his master. So if God came to you, and to visit you, and then you'd be so focused on God. How was it even possible for him to see the three men? When you're focused on something, it could be you could be on the telephone. You're taking care of something very important, and you're so focused on what you're doing that you're not going to notice every single thing around you. You might not be noticing that the gefilte fish is burning on the fire, but that there's no water left in the pot, whatever it is, because you're so focused. You're so focused on doing something else. So here, this should have been the most focus ever. And how is he even noticing three people? Was it an emergency? Great question. Was it an emergency? These people, okay, obviously they were angels. We know they were angels. Excellent question. And we're going to address it. We're going to address it. But from Avram's perspective, he sees these three people, and
Chesed was his like number one thing.
Chesed was his number one thing, and he
It's always funny because Hashem sent them. So it's like
right.
Hashem sends human beings also. Like,
Right, and Hashem sends us plenty of distractions also, you know. So for us, we're davening, and there's a million distractions. But Avraham Avinu is a huge tzaddik, so he wasn't distracted by the things that we're going to be distracted by. And okay, so I'm going to answer your question. It's an excellent question, and it's going to be answered a little bit later.
Hashem sent it because he wanted to show him that. This is number one.
Yeah. The answer is that when he was so focused on Hashem, if he was still able to notice these three people, it was a sign from Hashem that this was the most important thing for him to do, and that he has to take care of the guests now. Because it doesn't make sense logically. They should have even noticed them.
I think it also speaks to his superiority, Abraham's superiority, that he noticed the people even when God was there.
Okay, so that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. That what you're saying is that we should never ever lose sight of people, no matter what we're doing, no matter what's going on. That we should always be focusing. We always like when you're driving a car. You can't just look in front of you. You have to look in this mirror, that mirror. You have to have a picture of what's going on all around you. So yes, you're focusing on good stuff, but we can never lose sight of our children, of our friends, of our parents, of our students. We have to be. We're juggling. We are juggling.
No, you have a child that you're watching at the same time. You are definitely in two places at one time. You have to be, because if your kid does something dangerous, you're the mother. I guess you're saying that we have to be this way with everybody. Well,
Multitasking, but what we're going to say is that just like I'm saying, we have the inner circle and more outer circles. But just like when we're davening, if our kid fell, the 1 second that you're debating, is this an emergency or not? But you're in your heart, you're like, you can't wait till you could pick up this child, right? That instant. Could you imagine if we were able to be to also be able to include in that other people as well, to include even more than just our children in that feeling of when I see someone in an emergency situation, to care a little deeper. If we could walk out of here caring a little bit more about so everything needs to pick up a notch. We have to care more. We have to be more intuitive, a little bit more for our children, and a little bit more for our neighbors, and a little bit more for our family, our siblings, everyone. We have to pick ourselves up a little bit more, and don't think just because they're married now it's their responsibility to buy their own clothes. Yes, yeah, I could have sat and prepared yesterday like a mensch, and not have to cram everything in today. But my daughter came. We went to Hashabaton. My daughter and son-in-law came to take us over, and yesterday I went shopping with her. She needed me to go shopping with her. I could say, listen, you're married already. It's I don't know, like until when? You know what I'm saying? Like, at what point can you do this by yourself? But it wasn't just the clothes. It was the time. It was the quality time, whatever, the money. Yeah, okay. I did pay for it. Yes.
It's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive. You need a little love. You need a little love. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't end. And my mother buys me my clothing. It doesn't matter. So Baruch
It's kind
Hashem.
of like what I'm picking up is like, let's say I'm not the stage where like, unless I'm watching my granddaughter, but I'm saying I'm at the stage, I did get distracted by davening. You know what I'm saying? Like I lose, like I didn't even know how I got there, like so fast. So no, I'm saying, so I'm picking up where the lesson is to be more in the davening, more in the, if a neighbor or a friend needs you, like somebody just poured out her heart last week to me, my sister-in-law's friend at my sister-in-law's wedding. And I said to her, it's no mistake that you told this to me at the chuppah and I'm sitting near you, right? You know, for a long time. And I'm like, this morning, I'm like, I promised her that I'm gonna get her number and I'm gonna see what she needs. Right, so I got her number, I didn't call her yet, but I'm saying, but like, so maybe this is the lesson, maybe being really true to my word and what can I do for this? But I get involved, I get very involved. Sometimes I think I get too involved, like, so, whatever, yeah.
Everyone needs different messages.
Yeah.
So-
We need to focus on our davening. We need
You
to
know how
focus
you
on our
get,
davening.
like, general messages.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't, like, you need something else.
No, it's,
You know?
it's, how do you know when?
Maybe you need the Gevura part.
So we need a
Working on
mashpia.
purpose.
We need a mashpia to help us
Thank
out
you.
100%.
Yeah.
And it is difficult. Not always do we know. Should I, is this more important? Is that more important? But we have to have our eyes and our ears open all the time. And we can't get too busy. We can't get too busy that when our kid says, "Mommy, can I show you something? Mommy, can I tell you something?" And you know that it's going to be 20 minutes, you know, and it's hard because you really want supper on the table at a certain time, or you really want these kids in bed or whatever it is. Yes, it is juggling. We could say, okay, my darling, I have 5 minutes to listen to you. I mean, doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever you could do. I don't know. I'm saying that I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but we can't just we can't be blind and we can't be deaf to our children and to the people around us, to the people in our inner circle and even the outer circles. We have to step up. We have to step up a little bit. Yeah, okay. So the only way that Avram was able to notice these three men is if God wanted him to notice it. And the lesson was that the guests were more important.
So God wanted him to know this?
Yes. Yes, God wanted him.
So it was a test.
The fact that while he's having this most incredible revelation of God, while he's having that incredible experience, that he still noticed them, meant that came first, because he was so spiritual that he wouldn't have noticed it otherwise. Only if God made him see it.
That sublime experience of Hashem coming to visit you, and then you're able to say, hold on, please hold, please hold. Wow. That's,
I think it's happening to you deeper that he's able to recognize that he is able to whatever Hashem wants, and Hashem is sending people just as happy able to do that. That's how it can totally work.
So even in each
Wait,
situation,
that's certain, taking care of him's good.
wow. You didn't have to ask.
It wasn't like a selfish, right,
He was a chariot of Hashem.
right, that's for it. It's what Hashem wants, it's what I do.
And it's a lesson to us, and I love that what you said, that that he was taking care of Hashem's children. We are taking care of, as women, we are taking care of Hashem's children, and that's why, yes, we want to daven, and that should definitely be a goal and something that we're focusing on and trying to do. But the reason why we don't have the same obligation as men is because our job is to take care of Hashem's children, and taking care of Hashem's children comes before going to shul and by davening at a certain time and all the other mitzvahs that are time bound. So yeah, this is an incredible lesson. It's an incredible lesson.
See, when you're watching children, is it okay for them to answer, or do I have to wait?
That's a very good question. Well, also you can't talk until you finish Shemon Esrei, but I think it's okay. I'll tell to tell an older child, "Mommy's davening Shemon Esrei. It's gonna take me 5 minutes. Here is a snack or a cookie in case of emergency. Set it up. Is there someone is there someone else in the house that could take that responsibility for a few minutes, even if it's a child who's 6?" You know what I'm saying? To everything you have to plan in advance. Up until this, we do the best we can and plan ahead.
This one, I delayed my davening. I was up from 4:30.
Oh my
And
gosh!
I was babysitting at 8,
Wow.
and I delayed my davening. I didn't start davening until my ankle came. And then in the middle of Shana Esra, she had, I peeked out at the corner of my eye, she had 2 batteries in her hands.
Oh my goodness.
And she was close enough to me that to reach out and just grab it away. But really, I should not have been davening at that. I should have made sure to daven earlier.
So if we're able to, so I'm saying we have good intentions. We have good intentions and we try. I know once I pick up label, there is no way that I'm going to daven. It's either before I pick up label or it's not happening. I know whatever. Yes, I'm saying so if I know that, then I know that if when I come home from the class, if I have 1 hour and I have a choice either to clean up or to daven, then I know that cleaning up, then they have to prioritize. You know what I'm saying? Um, um, and even davening mincha, I cannot daven mincha when I can't, So if I know that, then and it's a priority for me to daven, then daven mincha before I pick him up. And if it means that the kitchen or the whatever bedroom won't be spotless, then it won't be spotless, and that's my sacrifice. But so I'm saying, yeah, we think ahead, absolutely. Okay, but we're still left with our question. I'm saying we're still for the second question. The question how Avram was able how was Avraham able to even notice these men when he was in such a high level? The fact that he saw it was a sign that this is what he had to do. But our question still remains: why did the Rambam change the proof? Why did he change the proof to Vayeira v'hinei shleisha anashim? And he saw and behold 3 men. Why didn't he just use the proof of the Gemara, which is the words that Avraham says to God, telling him to please wait?
And he's, and peaceful.
You're meant to see, what you see is what
Whenever
you
you
see.
see, whether you see good in somebody or not good in somebody, it's a message. It's a very deep message when you see something.
Right.
Hashem shows you because he's giving you a message.
So 100% that's the answer. The answer, the key, the answer that we're ultimately going to get to is the word vayar, to see. That the most important thing is to see somebody else. Okay, but we're gonna expound upon that. But that's ultimately where we're headed. Absolutely. Okay. Sure.
Is that why women have more flexibility in terms of their times that they do the prayer?
100%.
Because they have all this responsibility.
Yes. And that's the priority. The priority is take care of God's children. Your children, I'm saying, the children that you actually gave birth to, and your children that are your students, and your children that are God's children. Yes. Okay.
They have that flexibility.
Yes.
They both have responsibility.
What is it?
The men also have.
Of course.
More time. Yes, they find that.
It's different. Yes, in women. That's what I'm just saying.
The woman is that keres habayis. She's the mainstay of the home. So of course, doesn't mean that fathers can't do anything, but yeah. Okay. So the Rebbe brings an answer and refutes it. Very interesting. The Rebbe says why does the Rambam change the proof? Because this verse can be, there's a difference of opinion. There's a machlokes. There's a difference of opinion of how it should be explained. We could say, and Rashi says this, Vayeira Adonai imna matasichem beinecha. My master, if I find favor in your eyes, please don't pass before your servant. And that would mean that that Avram is talking to God and asking God to wait. But there's another interpretation that the word Adonai would means master, that he wasn't talking to God, but rather he was addressing of the three angels, the angel that was like the highest angel, and he was talking to the angels, and he's saying, "My master, the angel, if I find favor in your eyes, please pass not from before your servant, please wait." So there's two ways of interpreting it. So therefore, the Rambam says, no, I don't want to use that proof because someone could say, there are many commentaries that say that it's not even talking about God, so we can't, it's that he was talking to the angels, so therefore, the Rambam changes the proof. But the Rebbe doesn't like this answer, and the Rebbe says because the Rambam himself, in a different halacha, rules that Adonai is talking about God, that he was talking about God. So it wouldn't be an issue for the Rambam. Then, so the Rebbe doesn't accept that. And then there's another answer that he gives and refutes that there is the Moreh Nevuchim. The Moreh Nevuchim says that this whole entire this entire conversation was really a vision. It was a prophecy. It didn't really happen. So the Rebbe says, well, in that case, then any proof that you give wouldn't be sufficient, because if it's a vision and it didn't really happen, in actuality, then the words Vayeira b'nei Shashay Nashim, that also wouldn't be a proof. In any case, he brings two answers and refutes them. Now we're gonna try to go and find the true answer. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Okay, so in order to understand the answer, we're gonna read the Rambam, and we're gonna ask questions on the Rambam. And when we resolve the Rambam, we're gonna be able to resolve the answer. The question that we're left with is why is the proof that the Rambam bringing about the words and he saw, behold, there were three men, and not the proof, my master, if I find favor in your eyes, please don't pass from before me. Okay, so I gave out two papers. The second paper is the Rambam. So I'm going to read the English. So this halacha is in Hilchos Avelos, which is the halachas of mourning, Parak Yudalid, and it says, it is a positive commandment of rabbinic origin. Welcome. It's okay. To visit the sick, comfort mourners, to prepare for a funeral, prepare a bride, accompany guests. Now look very carefully. It says the word accompany guests in Hebrew. What does it say? Ulilavos ha'archim, to accompany the guests. It doesn't say hachnasas archim, which is what we're used to. Hachnasas archim means inviting guests, bringing guests in. The word that the Rambam is using is ulilavos ha'archim, to accompany guests.
Reading from the first page?
Yeah, I'm reading from this.
This one, okay. Oh.
Just the plain Rambam. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so on the third line, the second line in the Hebrew, the third line in the English, it's saying that it's a positive commandment to visit the sick, comfort mourners, to prepare for a funeral, prepare a bride, and accompany guests. To accompany guests means that after you fed them and you took care of them and they're slept and they're taken care of, when they're leaving, to accompany them. And it continues, attend to all the needs of a burial. These are deeds of kindness that one carries out with his person. there are some kindness that we do with our money, like we give tzedakah with our money. Now, when we're talking about giving our money, then there's a limit to how much money you should give. If it's a tenth, if it's a fifth, but not more than a fifth. Like there's a limit of how much money you could give to tzedakah. But when it comes to kindness with your person, there is no limit. Which means if I visited someone who was sick yesterday, I can't say, oh, I visited them yesterday, so I don't have to go visit them today. Because that doesn't take my money, that takes my body. And any kindness that requires my body, that there is no limit to. Even if you're Menachem Avel, even if someone is mourning. So you paid a Shiva call one day. So you say, okay, I'm done. No, but since it requires your body, not your money, if you can go again, then you should go again. There's no limit to kindness that requires your body. Oh, these are deeds of kindness that one carries out with this person that have no limit. Although all these mitzvot are of rabbinic origin, they are included in the scriptural commandment, love your neighbor as yourself. The mitzvah of v'ahavta l'reach kamecha, they're all included in this mitzvah of love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, so that was the first halacha. So the question that we have on this halacha is why does the Rambam use the word lelavos to accompany guests? Why doesn't he say hachnasas archim? Why lelavos archim? It should be inviting guests or having guests or taking care of my guests. Why accompanying my guests after I'm done? After I already did everything for them. So that's question number one. Now moving on to halacha 2. The reward one receives for accompanying guests, again, the word accompanying guests, is greater than all of the others. This is a statute which Avram, our patriarch, instituted, and the path of kindness which he would follow. He would feed wayfarers, provide them with drink, and accompany them.
Accompany them, like walking them to the door. That's where
it's more than just walking them to the door, and we're going to see what it means. Accompanying them, we're going to see what it means to accompany them, but it's walking them to the door and beyond.
When I was in summer, every weekend I went to a new person's place with Shabbos. They would walk me back probably almost a mile.
Wow.
Wow, like unbelievable. From over, the Cords Bridge to, past the Shook and.
That's so special.
Yeah,
That's so
I can think
special.
of 3 times.
Wow.
At least, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to discuss that's incredible. That's incredible. Okay, excellent. Thank you for sharing. Showing hospitality for guests surpasses receiving the divine presence, as it states, and he saw and behold, there were 3 people. Okay, so here our question is, if the Rambam is so, wants to highlight this concept of accompanying guests, that's the most important thing, right? Then then he should just say that. But no, he does say in the halacha that he does speak about Avram, and he says all things that he did. He would feed them and give them drink and accompany them. And in the second halacha, it does use the word ugdayla hachnasas archim. That hachnasas archim is greater than receiving the divine presence. So if it really is all about accompanying guests, then why bring in the eating and the drinking and the words hachnasas archim in the second halacha? So we're not sidelining feeding guests and giving them to drink and taking care of them and doing everything like that. So what is really going on here?
So
nice, like just. Like, was it like they were doing the mitzvah for me, for themselves? It was like just amazing to see that the dedication, and the kindness. Like after them, like treating you, and then actually taking that walk with you, and
Like, does it top it off, like, oh, they really wanted me.
That's exactly what we're
Yes,
saying.
yeah. For sure.
That's exactly what we're saying. They really wanted me. They really wanted me.
I mean, there were times where I was like, hey, like, you can go home, it's all right, and, you know.
They almost feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I felt bad, I'm like, you don't have to walk this far, but.
Wow.
But
And
hi.
It's also, when you walk into someone's home, it's also crucial for me. If somebody says the door
Yes.
open, I don't budge.
Right. If someone says, let yourself in, make yourself comfortable. Take whatever you want from the fridge, you know?
Yeah,
So uncomfortable.
interesting, because my mother would always say that if you have guests, you don't need to show them their room right away.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, we didn't have that many guests, like, well, basically our guest was like eating guest. It wasn't that much sleeping guest, but it was interesting, like, and especially the kids, I think, like, you know, my nieces and nephews, you know, like, you need to feel like they
Belong.
like a
They
belong.
have their own place.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yes. Okay. So from halacha beis, our question is, hachnasas archim is much more inclusive than lilavot ha'orchim, which means to just to accompany them. So why is it that in the first halacha it specifically uses the word to accompany guests, and the second halacha it says that the reward one receives for accompanying guests is greater than all the others? And why the term accompanying guests and not achnasas archim, which he does say later on which he does mention later on in that same Mishnah. So, now there's one more thing. The last paragraph over there, you know what it says? Accompanying them is greater than showing them hospitality. Our sages said, whoever does not accompany them is considered as if he shed blood.
Wow, that's.
Gonna go all that for the day. If you didn't do this, everything.
Okay. So now we have a few, now after reading this, let's explain what's going on here. Okay, in the olden days, traveling was very dangerous. So if you didn't accompany your guests,
Basically.
then if you didn't accompany guests, then it could, and they were attacked by wild animal or they were attacked by bandits, then it could be that it could be considered as if he shed blood if the person got hurt until he came to the main road or whatever it is. So that's very practically.
You're accompanying someone in the dark, right? Don't want them walking in the dark alone.
It's a responsibility. If it's a responsibility, that's why parents say curfew. You have to be home by this and this time because even like where even in a community, Crown Heights, whatever it is, you don't want the kids walking outside. They're studying for a test till midnight, and then then they have to walk home by themselves. So it's a little bit dangerous. So either sleep over or. Yeah. So I'm saying it's a responsibility. If you ask someone to babysit for you, you come from a wedding at midnight. You can't just tell the babysitter, "Okay, here's your money, goodbye." It's your responsibility to make sure they get home safe, get them an Uber, drive them home, whatever it is. So yes, there's that. Definitely there is that concept of accompanying guests, just very practically because it just could be dangerous. But we still have another question, and that is, if that's the case, then why should the Mishnah say the reward one receives for accompanying guests is greater than all the others? And then it says, whoever does not accompany them is considered as if he shed blood. So if I was to tell you a person shouldn't drink and drive because reason A, because you could kill someone, God forbid, or B, because if you do, then you could get punished. Which one holds more weight? Obviously, you don't drink and drive because God forbid someone could get killed. So why are we talking about the reward that you're going to get for accompanying somebody? The reason why I should accompany someone, it's not for the reward. It's because I don't want them to get hurt. So why are we talking about the reward that one receives for accompanying guests when there's something so much more at stake, which is their safety?
And we always learn not to do things for reward. Yeah, I said, what kind of reward?
So this is what it says. The reward when we so we have to understand what so that's why we're digging deeper and deeper and trying to understand what this is all about. To accompany guests, what does it mean? Why is it so important? Why are we discussing a reward when seemingly a reward is insignificant compared to the danger of someone getting hurt?
Is it the spirituality that you receive in the reward?
Okay, no, okay, so excellent question. We're going to get to the answer, and then we're almost there. We're on the way. Okay, so the question is, why should we start with a great reward when the most important motivation for accompanying the guest should be that he shouldn't get killed, that there shouldn't be bloodshed? Okay, the answer is, okay, this is the answer. The answer is that when it comes to kindness, there are two different types of kindness. Some mitzvahs that require kindness, it's all about the recipient. If someone is hungry, whether you're in the mood of giving them tzedakah or not, if you gave them money to buy a sandwich and now they're full, you did the mitzvah, and it doesn't matter how you feel. As a matter of fact, if you cross the street or you're walking down the street and $5 falls out of your pocketbook and a poor man picks it up and there's no siman, there's no sign that we could tell who it belongs to, and the poor man takes the $5 and buys himself a sandwich, guess what? You got a mitzvah.
Even if you don't even know about it.
Even if you don't even know about it, you don't even know the $5 was lost. Because the main thing was the guy was hungry and he was able to be full. He had his sandwich. So when it comes to tzedakah, when it comes to certain things, the main thing is, doesn't matter how you feel about it. It doesn't matter if you're not so happy or the money is tight and it's a sacrifice for you and you're not doing it with a smile. It doesn't matter. Or you know, I remember whatever, like you know, it could be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, the doorbell rings, someone's asking for a donation for charity. You just put your kids to sleep, okay? Okay, so the first time, okay, you're very nice about it, you give your donation, fine. But now the second time, the third time, the 10th time, someone's ringing your bell and your kids are sleeping and you don't want them to be woken up. And you know, so even if you give the money and you're not so excited that maybe the baby did wake up from the doorbell, whatever it is, and you give the money anyway, you did the mitzvah. It's fine. Doesn't matter about your feelings. But when it comes to achnasas archim, when it comes to inviting guests to your house, to hosting guests in your house, that is different. Over there, the highlight and the focus is not about the recipient, but it's about the host. As a hostess, it's our responsibility to make the person feel that you really love them and care about them. And where is that expressed most? And so what's the test to see? Do you really love and care about your guests? The test is, if after I did everything for them, I still say, give me your phone number. Let me walk you back to your apartment, or most of the way back to your apartment. After I already did my obligation, that shows that I really love you and I care about you. And then of course, and that you gave them to eat and to drink and the comfortable room and mattress and everything, whatever you gave them, then obviously all that was done with love and care. So that is the test. The test of kindness is if when it was time for them to go, that you accompany them at the door. Versus once the guests leave, there's a rule. You count to 10 before you start speaking about them, right? Because just in case they come back, you know, God forbid, right? So
they came quickly. They left. Okay.
Okay, so obviously, if that's the case, then obviously there's a problem that even if you gave them the best steak in the world and the best dessert, and the best wine and everything else, then obviously it was more out of obligation than out of care and love. And here we're learning that's when it comes to this mitzvah of achnasas archim, that why is it that yes, the reward that you receive for accompanying guests is greater than all the other, is greater than everything else, because here it's not just that you did the act, but that your heart was in it, that the person felt that you love them and you care about them. That's why it's so superior. And if we could include this in all the other chesed that we do, halavai, then it would make can you imagine if we did the chesed with our full heart, if we gave tzedakah with our full heart, how much more incredible that would be. But this is the uniqueness of this mitzvah of achnasas archim, and that's why he uses the word lelavai sa'archim, to accompany the guests, because that is where you see. That is where you see the love and care. Now, as you said, when you knock on someone's door, and maybe it's the first time you're going to their house, it can be very intimidating. We all, I laugh. My daughter now is in Israel in seminary. My son is in Tel Aviv, and even though it's my relatives, I love them to pieces. But my daughter never met them. So for her to go to my relatives, for her it's very intimidating. It's very intimidating, and therefore, and I think we all need that experience of, being in seminary, not being home, that you feel that intimidation, that you're sitting at someone's Shabbos table and you really want the gefilte fish, but it's, it's all the way in the, at the head of the table, and you're not going to ask anyone to pass it because you're too embarrassed. You need that experience that when you get married and have your own home, you make sure that every single dish is passed to every single person, because you know what that felt like. But yeah, so it could be intimidating to come to someone's house. And if someone just says, make yourself at home, help yourself to whatever you want, versus, did you try this dish here? It's different.
I had a Shabbos guest, a single young woman. And she came back to me. She doesn't really know me. She just needed a place like 1 o'clock Friday. She came from Muncie or something, Brooklyn maybe. And I was out. It was like one of those Fridays, like for the last second. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So by the time I came back and I didn't even see that she came, whatever, I felt so bad because this is a person. So then I said, now you're my guest. Like, now I'm welcoming, like, whatever. I did that, like open the door for her type of thing. Like,
amazing. Yeah. So that's why it says Vayar. That's why the proof is Vayar v'hinei shleisha anashim. That right in the beginning when you're inviting the guest, even if you're inviting them on Tuesday, right in the beginning, you immediately show them the love and the care. That from Tuesday to Friday, they shouldn't think, oh, they're just doing me a favor because I'm an out of towner. No, but it will really mean so much for us that you're coming, whatever it is, like from just when you see them in a distance, from that point, you should already be showing them the love and care. And this is why the Rambam is using these specific words as the proof that achnasas archim is even greater than greeting, Hashem.
Sometimes the guest feels like they're pulling yourself out, but there are moments when you're cringing. Like, some guests are not like so 100% so fun, No, you have like these young boys that come, and one guest comes, and I love when the boys could come, in droves, I don't mind. But when you have this one boy that just like talks too much, and then like we're cringing a little bit, but then he leaves, he's happy, we gave him our all, but like, even if they're happy, that you didn't give your all. So it's like
very simple, very simple. My kids on Monday morning, Menucha and Shena. And my husband is at 5:30 Monday morning to go to Crown Heights to teach. And my kids didn't go to school on Sunday. So he took them he took them this morning, 5:30 a.m. I washed Negavasser, got out of bed, I kissed them goodbye. I gave them each some spending money, and I went out, put on my coat, and I waved goodbye. And that does a lot for a kid. They're going away for a whole week. Menucha's 13, Shayna's 16. You know what I'm saying? But I could say, listen, it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm gonna sleep till 7. Say goodbye the night before. Even the married kids, when it's your kids that are leaving, and the next time you're going to see them is in a few weeks because they have to go to their in-laws and they also have to stay home because of their job, whatever it is. You're outside hugging them, kissing them, blowing kisses, and they see that you really love them and care about them. You don't say goodbye when they're from the house. By us, we have a very, very long driveway. So every time we have guests and the kids are around, they chase the car. They run all the way down the driveway until the car turns. So I'm saying if our guests could feel, could see that we're accompanying them just like we accompany our children when they leave the house, right? So that's how we're supposed to accompany our guests. That same love, that same care, and that shows
Realistic though?
that.
That realistic.
Send all the guests to the car.
Used to go like this instead of like it was like this. This was the way of
Oh, that's so cute. That's so special.
Yes, that I don't know. They come to use the basement, right? They stay in the basement. And what you're saying just taught me that I should make a phone call to them beforehand and let them know what's available and stuff like that, because I know when I'm going somewhere, I don't know, I've never been there before. It's such a lost feeling. You don't know where you're going to. And what you're teaching me now is to make a phone call and just help them, let them know what's available in my house.
What was the beginning of what you said?
Use the basement, they're not guessing.
Yes, then I
Like
know.
forced in front of their
Yeah,
neighborhood.
like I guess
Definitely.
The front door is rooms upstairs, rooms downstairs, how many beds, you need extra.
Know what's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For our kids, if someone is a son-in-law is lactose intolerant, you make sure to have the rice stream or whatever it is. This one likes sourdough, this one, and before your kids come, what is there anything special, right? Anything special that your kids want? Squeezy yogurts, whatever it is. And I'm saying and you make sure to you call them before. Is there anything that you need? Is it and you make sure to have it in the house. Why? Because you love and you care for them, and it starts from Vayeira, from when you make that, from when you invite them, when you already see them in the distance, from that, because he saw them in the distance. From when you see them in the distance, you're already loving them and caring for them. And where do you see it? You only see that at the end, and therefore you get such a great reward for accompanying your guests. Now, there's a deeper interpretation to these words. Accompanying them is greater than showing them hospitality. Our sages said, whoever does not accompany them is considered as if he shed blood. Where else do we see that that it's considered as if he shed blood? If you embarrass someone, it's considered as if you shed blood. And what happens? The face turns, first the blood rushes to your face and then it leaves. And that's why you become very pale, right? So if you had the guests, you gave them the best food and the best drink and the best room in your house and like that, but now it's time to say goodbye, and they left, and you slam the door, and you say, thank God they're gone, right? Then you know what? They feel embarrassed. They feel embarrassed.
They could feel it.
And that's why it's considered as if you shed blood. It's not that, I'm saying, especially in today's day and age, okay, where a lot of times our guests are leaving by car and you're not afraid, like the olden days, that there's going to be bandits or a wild animal that's going to eat them, God forbid, right? So, and as a matter of fact, in today's day and age, these laws of lilavot harochim is not as literal as it was then. But if a person after you fed them and gave them whatever you gave them and they left with a feeling of they didn't really care about me, then they feel embarrassed. Oh, I had to take from them, or you know what I'm saying? So that's why they feel embarrassed, and that's why it's considered as if he shed blood. So it's not so that's why there's, in the olden days it was shed blood that actually this whole thing of there's a mitzvah called Egla Arufa, that if someone is killed, if someone dies in between two cities, then they have the rabbis have to come out and they have to say that we did not that we provide, yes, that we did give him food and drink, and that we did accompany him, at least to a certain amount, in order for them to, not to be responsible.
Oh, wow.
So I'm saying there definitely is a concept of making sure that our guests are going to be safe when they leave our house, so that nothing should happen to them physically, and even emotionally, we don't want to shed their blood, that they should leave the house feeling embarrassed that they had to take from us, and that we really didn't want to, that we just did it as we just did it as an obligation, and we really, couldn't wait for them to leave. God forbid. Okay, that doesn't apply to anyone
So
here.
if we have a green gas, we just have to really like in between, like really say, Hashem, help me want them, or,
So I'm saying a mitzvah doesn't mean that it's going to be easy for us. There's a story of this great man. His name was Rabbi Eliezer, and he was known far and wide. Rabbi Eliezer, and he was known far and wide for his that he always had achnasas orchim. He always loved having guests. And in Shemayim, he didn't have any children. And in Shemayim, they said, okay, we're going to test him. We're going to test him. What if we give him a guest that's not so pleasant? And first the Satan said he's going to come be the guest. Eliyahu said, no, I'm going to go. Eliyahu Navi said he's going to go. He's going to dress up like a human, like a poor person. He's going to test him. He comes on Shabbos, once Shabbos already started, carrying a big bag. So basically, he was desecrating Shabbos, coming to his house while desecrating Shabbos. And Rabbi Eliezer greeted him with so lovingly, and he didn't scream at him, "Oh, why are you carrying on Shabbos?" or whatever it is. And actually, there's a kids video. The Small Wonder Puppet Theater, they make this video of him coming in with his dirty boots, and he puts his dirty boots in the white tablecloth, and every time any food comes out, he says, "This is for me," and he keeps taking all the food for himself. It's a very whatever. It's a I don't know if you've seen it. It's a very cute video for kids. And then he's snoring, and he takes the blanket, and he they make it like really dramatize it at least in the kids version. And Rabbi Eliezer says he never doesn't lose his cool. He says, even though he has nothing to eat because the guest ate everything and made everything filthy and took everything. And he says, okay, he covers him with a blanket, and he fell asleep by the table, of course, with his feet on the table, and his muddy feet on the table on the beautiful white tablecloth. And he says, okay, good night, sleep well. And he starts walking away. And then the poor man says, Eliezer, come here. And he says, I'm really Eliyahu Hanavi. And because you had such achnasas orchim, not just to someone who was pleasant to have hospitality, therefore you're going to be blessed with a son. Do you know who that son was? That was Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov. That's the story about his parents.
Oh, wow.
And that they were blessed with such an incredible soul, the Baal Shem Tov, because he had such incredible achnasas orchim, even to someone who was not an easy guest to have. So
I have some work to do.
But she was really sorry, me know this generation. She had a home in Yerushalayim, and was over 100.
wow.
That's how the people, but I'm in the middle of all the dysfunctional and people she not still there, but embraced them in her home. And the stories are never ending on how she chicken soup. She lived in so the part I'm not to is the fact that she learned the she's born and the Rebbe, she's going to try to
Wow.
better that broke up. And she was a little kid, she got the Rebbe, and she took her into the Rebbe like, good Shabbos. She talked to the table and said, good Shabbos, and the Rebbe responded to her, you're gonna have a very good Shabbos. Something about specifically about Shabbos. And
Wow.
the way she took Shabbos as her mission in life who allowed me to come to the door, and the things she put up with are unbelievable, and the way she did it, because she saw each person as a soul, and the more you love someone and the more you're able to see them as God's children,
Yes.
there's no such thing as turning them away. And some people live going beyond what a normal person can handle. And reading it, it's really makes it, yeah, it was like, there's a lot of work. I mean, not me, I
Yeah.
read it, and I'm like, wow, the level that person can be on.
It's amazing. It's
We had
amazing.
one guest who threw soup who was.
I mean,
Oh.
someone else.
It's unbelievable.
That door 3 o'clock in the morning, because the whole week pizza wasn't ready or something.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, that's ridiculous. She's like, if something that, like, if this is what this Neshama needs, what's the big deal? I'll get out of bed, show him, or show him how to make the pizza himself. Like, a normal reaction would be like, get out of my house. What do you, like, not, I mean, she went above and beyond, obviously.
Yeah.
Had a special soul, but there's so much that we can learn from someone that did
Long
that.
time ago, I read that book.
Yeah,
What's so special is that it's a woman from this,
Someone mentioned something about her, and I picked up the book.
it's a woman from this generation. That's what's so like
Yeah.
amazing. Like you could do it.
Girl who chose this, like, and actually I've been to have like helping do some people I know that are in the book, and just to hear how she just,
Wow.
I'm so lovely, gives us a little bit of a ounce of understanding.
Yes.
What
Yes.
real authentic art can look like even in today's world.
They're all
Yeah.
those people. They-
And we all could do it, like, we all
Oh,
pick it
my-
up enough, and I think that's
We can all
what,
pick it up a notch.
that's what I think the lesson.
Because we all do it to
We all
some,
do it,
we
and
all
we're all
do.
picking it up enough.
Well, we try to be kind, you know, we try to understand other people, but then we get distracted.
That's what we're talking about, distraction.
Gotta pay the bills.
You know, it's very hard to be a guest. I mean, recently, I'm not a big meat eater. Somebody who, I thought, this is so hard. The woman tells me I have veal, and it's like, that's the last thing in the world I would ever eat. There's no way I can even force myself to
Okay.
eat that. And it was really embarrassing, but I got it for you. And I spent $80 on it, and it went, and you know, that's a very hard. If anybody has any suggestions, I mean, it's very hard to be a guest as well. You know, it's like if I go somewhere and there's a small amount of something, okay, if there's nothing else, but I don't eat veal, I don't
Right,
eat
right.
steak, I don't.
Yes, so we have to be mindful. We have to be
Wow,
mindful
it's
of our
very
guests and
hard.
see it from their perspective, not just from our perspective, 100%.
And you can't push it, you can't say, and, you know, you just can't do that. I mean, it's-
Right,
So
right.
both sides are tricky. You have to, I think,
Yeah.
ask someone before they come, you know?
What are you allergic to? Some people are gluten-free.
What do
It's
you
important.
put, like,
What are your preferences? Yes, everyone
I
has.
try to have like chicken and meat at every meal,
Yeah,
or like you said, your own children. I know my daughter-in-laws don't like, you know what I'm
right.
saying?
And if you have a guest that comes all the time and you know that they don't like this specific thing, then you make it at a different week, or you make sure to have something else 100%. There's another story of. Right, that's what I'm saying. That's called exactly. It's like you shed blood if the person's embarrassed when you're hosting them. This is what we're saying, that you have to go the extra mile. There's a story that there was an individual who was very rich and he had a lot of guests, and he was an amazing person, and he treated his guests and he gave them all the food and drink and everything. And one time he had a big fire. And all of his assets and everything he had was burnt. And he goes to the rabbi and he says, "Rabbi, why did this terrible tragedy happen to me? I'm so hospitable. Look how much food I give to guests and everything like that." So he said, "There's a word, ashel. Ashel is what Avraham did for what Avraham did for his. There are some." Ashel, there are some places that have achnasas archim that it's called Ashel. Ashel is like a hospitality house. And the rabbi said to him, Ashel is an acronym for 3 things: achila, food, shtia, and drink. And I always thought that Lamed is for Lina, for sleep. But he said Lamed is for Levaya, to accompany them. And you did the achila and you did the shtia, but you didn't do the accompanying, meaning that you didn't do it with your whole heart. And if you're missing the accompanying, if you're missing the levaya, then what do you have? You just have ish, you just have fire. So that was another story. Okay, but now I just want to close because someone asked a question. These weren't real men. They were angels. Was it really an emergency that Avram had to stop speaking to God to give them food? They just pretended to eat. Yeah. So whether Avram knew they were angels or not, okay, makes a huge difference. Okay, so we could say that Avram didn't know, or we could say that Avram did know. Okay, either way, let's say Avram knew that they were angels. Okay, let's take that approach. Avram knew that they were angels, and he still stopped God to take care of the angels. So whether they were angels or not, the reason why it was important for him to go and take care of them is because when it comes to Hachnasas Archim, it's not really about the other person's needs. Hachnasas Archim highlights your job of being kind. So whether they were actually hungry or not, didn't matter. But Avram, from his part, he had to show extreme love and care that as soon as he sees them from the distance, he already notices them even while he's talking to God, because the mitzvah of Achnasas Archim is highlighting your care, your love, your kindness. It's more about you than about the person that you're hosting, and therefore it didn't matter if they actually were humans or not humans. He had to stop his conversation with God and go run after them. And it says, so the chidush, the new thing, the novelty that we're learning in this teaching is that how important it is that our guests should feel wanted. And not only at the end, but from when you welcome them, it's so important that they should feel wanted the entire time. And they should feel cared about. Yeah, as soon as you see them, you should make them feel cared for and important from the very first moment. And here we go about the angels. How does Avram leave Hashem to feed the people? They weren't people. Because so this mitzvah teaches us this mitzvah is more about the host than the guest. Even though they weren't real guests, he still had to go and show his kindness. And it says that Avram was so precious to Hashem. Avram was a markava; he was a chariot to God. Just like a chariot doesn't have a will of its own. Avram was so dedicated to God that Avram was even greater than the angels, and therefore even the angels had what to gain from Abraham. So yes, they may not have been humans, but they still had what to gain from Abraham, and therefore Abraham had to stop and show him his love and care for them. And this teaching teaches us about Avas Yisroel, how we should look at another Jew, and how we should treat another Jew. So we learn it from the mitzvah of Achnasas Archim. We should try to apply it to all the mitzvahs and to all our acts of chesed that we do, that we shouldn't just make sure that they actually have the food to eat, but that the person should feel that we truly love them and care about them and want to have a relationship with them. When we all, the Rebbe said there was a news reporter that came to the Rebbe and asked, when is the Messiah going to come? And the Rebbe said, when we increase in acts of goodness and kindness. A non-Jewish news reporter came to the Rebbe in the Rebbe's lifetime and asked the Rebbe, when is the Messiah going to come? And the Rebbe said, when we increase in acts of goodness and kindness, that's when Mashiach is going to come. So if we all could think of one more person we could invite or show them, it could be a child, it could be a student, it could be a friend, it could be a neighbor, just to go a little bit more, because we're all doing amazing, but just to take one more step to show that we truly love and care another person.
Yeah,
Okay.
wow, thank you.
Stem.
You know, usually I invite guests like later in the week, but maybe I'll start thinking about who I want to invite earlier in the week.
Thank you, Sandra and Sarala and Risa for joining us. Yes,
Thank you.
100%.